And here we are again. Another year for TF2 is over. Many things have happened, so many in fact that I decided to do another recap. Just to remind people of all the important events that have happened this year. And then, at the end, I will speculate what all of this means for the future of TF2. Will the game survive another year? Will it improve or get worse? We'll see. And to help me with all of this, I am joined by good old Scout. Say hi, Scout.
Hey, Peter.
Alright, we lost enough time already. So, Scout, why don't you just start us off then,
Alright, we're starting this off with January 10th. TF Comic number 6 comes out, and TF Comic number 6, let me tell you, is the best freaking one there is at all. It involves a lot of me and a lot of everybody else, but mostly me. Everybody dies, but they come back to life because the medic knows how to sponge blood into people and stuff. There's a bunch of robot killing, and here's the big part. Here's the part that everybody's gonna love. Tom Jones is my father. Yeah, Tom freaking Jones. Who would have believed it, right? And so Tom Jones, he sends me to the afterlife. He's sitting there, and I don't know if he was torn up about it or not, because I was pretty busy talking to God. And the reason for this is, as we all know, I was sent to Earth to lay with all the Earth's women because I am the gift to man. Or a woman. So I come back and everybody's like naked or covered in blood or honey, and there's a baboon that somebody gave birth to, and I don't understand any of this crap. And after they filled me in on everything, I still had a question. Like, the administrator died, but she came back for an hour to settle a debt. Like, what was that debt? Did she owe the medic something?
Last year they took down gambling sites for CSGO, and this year they did the same for TF2. And that is very good because gambling is garbage and it should be encouraged. But I highly doubt Valve took them down because they encourage gambling, however. Because otherwise they would also take down crates and cases in their own games, but they don't, so you know.
February 17th, somebody leaves Valve. Now, it's not Jay Pinkerton that was speculated to leave Valve. It was actually Eric Walpole, the writer for the TF Comic series and the writer for Half-Life and Portal. So, rip Half-Life 3. I'm still a little bit torn up about him leaving. April 21st, the TF2 soundtrack is released. All your favorite songs as a digital download, CD, or LP, including a secret track that didn't fit any of the maps at the time, so nobody actually knew where it came from. One of our first hints at the jungle update, which was animal noises, frogs, birds, insects, thunder, just a really jungly kind of theme.
And then, on the 8th of May, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change German. Something he would never quite forget. It's Overtime! The bestest fan game to ever be based on TF2 and Undertale. After over 1.5 years, I had finally finished that darn thing. And with at least 2 hours of gameplay, tons of new dialogue, battles, jokes and references, the TF2 community seemed to really love it. Even if you had never played Undertale or TF2 before, you could still pick it up and have a great time. It has got to be the biggest and most ambitious game I have ever made. Of course, it has its fair share of flaws and shortcomings as well as bugs, some of which I fixed later on though. But I couldn't be more proud of it. I am very happy that I was able to create a game based on 2 of my favorite games of all time, and I'm even happier that other people enjoyed it as well. People even made tons of videos about it. That's unbelievable. This is a feeling that you just cannot put into words. I also really hope that it got some people interested in both Undertale and TF2 as well. They are fantastic games and deserve all the love they can get, and this fan game shows my love for them. But Overtime will not remain the only TF2 crossover fan game, no, because I'm still working on a crossover of TF2 and Hotline Miami, which I'm hoping to release in 2018, so let's see how that goes. Jay Pinkerton did actually end up leaving Valve, just not in February. He was the last writer for the TF comic series, as well as for Portal 2 and some Dota 2 comics. I'm really sad to see him go as well because he was a very excellent and really funny rider. Unfortunately, this also means that the TF team is shrinking in size. The last time we checked, they had around 16 members, so now it's about 14. What does this mean for the future of TF2? Well, I suspect that the story for the TF comics was already written in advance, so I don't think they would suffer in any way. However, I'm not too sure if we'll get future TF2 comics or anything, because, well, they don't really have writers anymore. And about other Valve titles, I genuinely have no clue.
June 20th, Valve speaks up to the community for what feels like the first time in freaking eternity. Basically, they say that they're gonna change a bunch of weapons, they tell us what weapons these are gonna be, and they start looking for how we think about this. Like, do we love it? Do we hate it? Do we want to burn it with a fire? I don't know. And it's a step in the right direction, really. Valve opening up and saying, like, hey, this is what's going on with us.
Alright, this has nothing to do with TF2, just with my YouTube channel. Hey, you're watching my video, what do you expect? Of course I'll stroke my ego. I don't really care about milestones like 5k or 10k or 20k. They have to make sense to me. So because I really love the Stanley Parable, I was really happy to see that I got 2 845 subs in June, and I also got 8888 subs in August, and that makes me very happy. Thank you for watching my videos and for subscribing, because you are helping my dream come true and I couldn't be happy about it. So thank you again very much for that. And I'm also hoping to deliver some very nice content that you people will enjoy. It's August, that means one thing, TF2's birthday. No, just kidding, it's Team Fortress's birthday. And the TF team celebrated it by adopting a baby named Team Crabwalk Rocket Jump Fortress. It's gonna be helping the team from now on, which brings the size up to 3, which is the potted plant, the janitor, and now the baby.
And now for the meat of the story, YouTubers visiting Valve. VNN, Valve News Network of course, visited Valve and got a properly organized press interview, while Uncle Dane, Aggro from Critscast, a good friend of mine, and Jewlander visited in a kind of a Fast and Furious kind of interview. So, we all know that Dane's visit was a little more controversial, surrounding the whole 9-6 thing, which came up not once in the entire video detailing this, this visit. But what did come up was that they were considering to switch to Source 2, but they didn't have the manpower. Speaking of, there were only 16 people on the entire Team Fortress team. Dave Rilla, answered that only 5 or 6 of these people were actually hard coders. The rest were artwork guys, sound engineers, and stuff like that. Going back up to Uncle Dane's visit, the Valve politics make it near impossible to get more people hired just because of the way everything's a little kind of like the coding in there. It's a mess. Finally, Valve News Network uncovered that they have a theme announcement of community updates where they get a little more community input. Valve sees what we put up. Even if we don't hear anything back from them, it's guaranteed that they see and at least take into consideration what we're doing. Not just as you have your separate groups, they take into consideration what we do as a whole. Finally, September 1st, Uncle Dane releases a cryptic tweet after his visit to Valve hinting at 9-6. It was on a whiteboard with a doodle of a jungle underneath, so everybody thought that it was going to be released on September 9th. It wasn't, and the community turned absolutely crazy. People started flaming him. There was multiple Reddit posts saying, just don't attack this man, it's freaking crazy. And it kind of taught us a big lesson here that we should not overhype everything, and that the people who decide that, hey, I want to release a little bit of information that I found, they control a lot of what happens.
Alright, now it's TF2's birthday, and its 10th birthday in fact. It is a full decade old and people still play it, can you believe it? The TF2 community celebrated it with a mosaic made by Medley20 out of drawings and screenshots by the fans. It looked pretty freaking amazing, and look, there's me! And there's me again, and there, and there, and there, and there. Also, there was a Valve blog post in which they said that they were finishing up a Mammoth new update, which was of course memed to death. And they also said that they were gonna be shipping the update very soon. And there it was, the Pyro update, also known as the Jungle update. We anticipated it for over a year, but we were still pretty surprised when it dropped. It didn't come out all at once though, no. It was the very first update since the Uber update to feature 4 days of content. What kind of content? Well, how about complete Pyro rebalances making flames more consistent? Or 4 new weapons for the Pyro and even 1 for the Heavy? And all of the suggested balance changes from June. That is not all though. Skins were now replaced with war paints, which were a slight improvement. There were also some new taunts, a lot of which were Yeti themed, both from Valve and the community. As well as 6 new maps, 5 by the community and 1 by Valve, the anticipated Jungle map. And even an animated SFM short starring Sexton Hale for the very first time. and, of course, a new contract pass. But this time they updated the contract system to allow you to choose your own contracts and even your own rewards. And every player also received free pyro contracts to get the new weapons. Even matchmaking and party saw a slight improvement, overhauling the UI and allowing you to join your friends' matches, at least sometimes, when it works. It doesn't always. And also new cosmetics, bug fixes, sounds, weapon inspections, the bottle breaking again, and so much more. I think it would be easier to list the things that weren't added. Hey, I should do that. How about competitive changes which were promised? Those weren't in there. Auto scramble after matches end, that wasn't in the update either. There were a lot of other bad things in the update though. For example, the new pyro weapons weren't actually so great. The Thermal Thruster and Dragon's Fury are, they just need some slight balancing. But the Gas Passer was a nice idea, but an awful execution, and the Hot Hand is just a dumb meme weapon. Even the new Banana weapon for Heavy is more useful, even more so than the Delocos bar and the Sandwich at times. And the aforementioned pyro improvements? Well, they also broke a lot of things in the process. Like flames lingering on the floor for no reason, or spraying your flamethrower wildly around actually being viable, or just not being able to see through the flames at all. And even those weapon rebalances broke a lot of perfectly good ones, like making the Ambassador objectively worse than the Revolver, or saying goodbye to the Atomizer and the Sandman and Cleaver combo. And even the Bison and Claymore weren't actually fully reverted to how they were. And those contracts? Well, a lot of them were pretty grindy, like the Amputator or the Defense ones. Being able to pick rewards was nice, but not that you could only pick a handful of skins, with the rest still being locked behind RNG lootbox garbage. And none of the new maps, only about half of them were actually good. Certainly not Mercenary Park, because that was a stalematey chokefest reminiscent of Dust Bowl. And who thought that it was a good idea to give Heavy a Yeti costume that isn't even Halloween restricted? So, was it even worth the wait? Honestly, not really. There was a lot of great stuff in there, but a lot of stuff was also missing, like comp. And let's not forget that it took over a year to finish. The TF team is way too small, it needs to be bigger. But yeah, I made a video about that already. And I could go into more details about the update, but that would require its own video. So let me just sum it up with a score. Jungle Inferno is a 7 out of 10. It's not awful, but it's not as amazing as it was made out to be.
October 26th, Scream Fortress 9 comes out. No cauldrons, they recycle a lot of the old content, but it's still all the good stuff we wanted. Especially since it was something that came out immediately after the jungle update. Now, I'm not gonna say that it's perfectly fine, because the TF team needs more people so they can get more content. It kinda goes back into the whole Valve News Network visit thing, where they can't exactly get more people easily. This being said, they did great.
Yay, Funko Pops. Not just TF2 but also Portal ones. I mean, the lower body looks quite alright, and there's some nicely molded weapons with a lot of details, especially the minigun. But the heads are absolutely atrocious, like all Funko Pops. They're way too big and have black beady eyes. But I gotta say, they're way more expressive and recognizable than the majority of Funko Pops. I just have one question though, where's the remaining TF2 action figures?
Whoa, look at that freaking Scout one. That is amazing. Speaking of amazing, November, a TF2 Monopoly game comes out. I do remember seeing a couple things about it as I personally went through the internet, and I saw all sorts of crazy stuff. They had cards that were random drops, streets were renamed to TF2 maps, even the electric company got replaced with Powerhouse and Waterworks with Hydro, which is kinda bad considering nobody ever goes there. You gotta keep the water working. The tokens were switched around, so all your favorite tokens from Monopoly were turned into the Towering Pillar of Hats, a Sentry, a Wooden Cow, a Payload, a Saxy, and a Balloonicorn. Overall, it's absolutely great, and if you can stomach Monopoly without wanting to, throttle the people you're playing it with, absolutely get it. Even if you're just collecting TF2 memorabilia, still get it. December 5th, the 7th annual Saxy Awards were announced. It was really late. In fact, a lot of the people that I was working with at the time didn't think we'd have one. HoovyTube released a video thinking that the Saxies just weren't going to happen, and surprisingly, they are. So the deadline is March 8th, 2018. Now, we're going to see how that turns out, but for the time being, if you guys need a scout, or if you know somebody that needs a scout, go ahead and plug me in right there, the biological machine. Just go ahead and, write me on a letter, paper airplane that crap, put it through the telegraph, whatever you need to do.
On December 21st came the Smithmas update. Even if there were, Smithmas updates are something to look forward to. Especially the free stuffed stocking, which gave you a bunch of items for free. Unlike Scream Fortress, there weren't any new contracts or anything. There were, however, new cosmetics, obviously, and new war paints. One of the war paints was even included in the free stocking. They also added more weapons to the list of ones that can be festivized, and you can also use war paints and trade-outs, which is more than welcome. And can't forget the new taunts, which were used for some very creative memes, of course. Aside from that, there were some bug fixes, and they even updated some of the maps, including Mercenary Park and Watergate, surprisingly. Alieny sounds? Stellar writing as always, Valve. Oh yeah, and there was a Manco quote-unquote sale with a few ridiculous discounts nobody even cares about. But why am I even telling you this? This update just happened. I gotta say though, after the rather lacking Scream Fortress update, this was very welcome. They didn't add much new content, much like in 2016, but it was a slight improvement overall. Although most of the stuff came from the community, as always. So I'm wondering, when is Valve gonna hand the game over to the community instead? Come on Valve, they're obviously more interested in the game than you are. And that was 2017. What a year. It's funny, I didn't actually think I would be able to talk about that many things. It felt like nothing really happened except for that Pyro update. But I guess this is what this video is for. Just to look back on the year and think about all the things we've experienced. But what does this mean for 2018 and for the future of TF2? Well, obviously the last TF comic will come out. Probably not in 2018 though. I don't think we can expect more minor comics, however, considering all the writers have left. We are likely going to see more TF2 merchandise, however. In that case, I really hope we'll get the remaining TF2 action figures. They said they were working on them, so give me my darn medic already! What you can also look forward to is that Hotline Miami X TF2 game I'm working on. Unless that isn't your cup of tea. In this case, please stop watching my videos forever. I'm kidding, please don't. The heavy update will likely not come out in 2018, possibly not even in 2019. But I think we can expect another balance changes blog post beforehand, similar to what they did with the Pyro update. I suppose they're trying to communicate more, so I also bet more people are going to visit Valve, maybe even me? Which is how they like to get their information across. It's not the best way to communicate, of course, so I'm hoping they'll also write more blog posts as well. I also hope that we're gonna get a constant stream of smaller updates from now on. They were really busy with Jungle Inferno, but afterwards they released a ton of bug fixing updates. This is exactly what I want. And hey, since they're likely not gonna do a gigantic update like the Pyro one next year, maybe we can see a smaller major update? Boy, that's an oxymoron if I ever heard one. And perhaps Scream Fortress and Smith won't just recycle old content. Oh, look at me, negotiating for content. That's not really hopeful, is it? But maybe we'll get some nice community updates. After all, they're very capable of some pretty excellent stuff. Oh, and I'm also predicting stickers for skins in the next update. I can almost guarantee that. And let's not forget the sexies. There's gonna be some very nice animations there, right? And perhaps they'll even improve competitive mode. So yeah, there are a couple of things to look forward to. I mean, we're now 10 years down the line. Of course it's getting older, but TF2 definitely ain't dying anytime soon. I am definitely thankful for the TF team still working on the game. And hey, if comp gets improved, the game might live on for even longer. So yeah. What about you, Scout? Do you have anything left to say?
Honestly, this year's been really busy for TF2. It's got a lot of stuff coming back, a lot of stuff leaving, and it's just this massive kind of shakeup of everything that's happening in the community. People are coming, people are going, and it's like recycling. They're taking the bad stuff out and they're putting new stuff in, or they're taking good stuff out and they're putting other stuff in, and it's just, they got a lot of stuff shifting around in the Team Fortress community, and I look forward to seeing how this kind of works together, because it can either go really well or really bad. I'm hoping it goes well for everyone here's sake. I don't exactly think I can make it as a homeless man.
Wow. I couldn't have said it better myself. Truly beautiful. And thanks for stopping by, Totally Real Scout from TF2. It's just Biological Machine. I did this joke last year. But also, please do consider subscribing to him. He does a pretty nice Scout impression, no? Thanks for being here, Bio. Oh, and also, very special thanks to my patrons. Segway. Thanks to... Oh, verdammt, ich hab die Namen vergessen rauszuschreiben. Whoops, mach ich leider mal. Clatic Gennaro, Lasse Soybjerg, LECT Kane, Starrent, Zachary Leclerc, and The Pizer Man. And of course, all the thanks to you, dear viewers. Thank you for being fans and for helping my channel grow. If you aren't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Or maybe you want to even support me on Patreon? If you don't, that's also perfectly fine. I'm just happy you're here. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in 2018, if it's not 2018 already. Have a very happy new year and goodbye.